Boston has undeniably built one of the most impressive three-point shooting teams in NBA history. Their success from beyond the arc is not just a product of this season, but a defining characteristic of their play over several years. However, despite their remarkable ability to hit three-pointers, an analyst has raised concerns about a potential vulnerability that could threaten their pursuit of a second consecutive NBA championship, something they haven't achieved since 2017. And, surprisingly, this weakness might lie within their offensive system itself. Before we delve into the analyst's perspective on the team's offensive performance, it's important to first take stock of where the Celtics stand today. Many experts may suggest that teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers or Oklahoma City Thunder are tough opponents, especially given the Celtics' current position in the Eastern Conference standings. However, I believe that this Boston squad is equipped with all the tools necessary to compete and win, both last season and this season, achieving feats that many would have considered unlikely. The analyst in question, while acknowledging the Celtics' defensive and offensive prowess, believes that their offense is generally slower and less dynamic than the fast-paced, high-energy offenses of other top teams in the league. It's not that Boston lacks shooting capability or is ineffective from beyond the three-point line. Everyone knows that this is a strength they possess. However, the analyst points out that Boston's offense at times feels methodical, lacking the intensity of the league's most high-powered offenses. He notes that while it's not easy to pinpoint a weakness in a team like Boston, who, along with teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, ranks among the top 5 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, there's an issue that could be problematic for them in a playoff series: their offensive tempo. This isn't just about their reliance on the three-point shot. It's also about their overall approach to the game, which can sometimes feel cautious, as though they aren't playing the free-flowing, fast-paced basketball that could allow them to fully reach their potential. When you look at the overall offensive rating, Boston is noticeably slower than many other top teams, ranking 26th in the league in fast break points and sitting dead last in the NBA with just 11.8 points per game in transition situations. Only a total of 16 points per game when considering all fast break and transition scenarios. What's particularly striking is that Boston's offensive rhythm seems to be restricted even after securing a defensive rebound. The team takes an average of 12 seconds to set up for their next shot, which places them 27th in the league. Compare that to teams who move with urgency and hit quick transitions after a steal or turnover, and the difference becomes even clearer. When Boston does manage to steal the ball or force a turnover, they average just 9 seconds to score in these situations. So, while it may not appear that the team is slow when watching them play, the numbers suggest a much slower pace than what we typically see from high-scoring teams. Given all this, it begs the question: if Boston's offense is indeed this slow, how have they managed to perform so well? How did they manage to secure the NBA championship last season and remain in second place in the Eastern Conference, with more than 56 wins and only 20 losses? It seems somewhat contradictory that such a slow-paced team, in terms of transition and fast break opportunities, could achieve such success, especially considering how poorly they rank in several traditional offensive categories. The answer lies in their ability to rely heavily on the three-point shot. While the team's overall offensive strategy isn't solely built on fast breaks or transitions, their success from beyond the arc compensates for their lack of speed. In fact, they've broken the NBA record for most three-pointers made in a regular season, hitting a total of 1,364 attempts, surpassing their own record from 2 years ago, which stood at 1,351. This strategy of prioritizing three-point shooting has become a hallmark of the Celtics under their current coach. It's been a consistent part of their approach, and while it's undeniably effective, it does come with certain risks. If the three-pointers aren't falling, Boston can find itself in trouble, as we've seen in several games this season. Their reliance on long-range shooting means that if their shots aren't landing, their offense can sputter. This season, the Celtics are shooting an impressive 45.9% from beyond the arc, which is good for the league's best percentage. But they sit at the very bottom of the league when it comes to two-point shooting, with only 40.9% from inside the arc. So while the three-point shot has become their identity, it's clear that they cannot afford to depend entirely on it. There needs to be a more balanced offensive strategy that doesn't revolve solely around the perimeter game. In the high-pressure environment of the playoffs, when the game's slowed down and every possession counts, can Boston afford to be this one-dimensional? They've already encountered problems in games this season when their three-point shooting was off. Against some of the league's best teams, the Celtics have struggled with a shooting percentage as low as 24% from beyond the arc in games they should have won. This brings up an important point. Is Boston relying too much on a three-point shot? I'm sure many of you watching would agree, as it's become a common theme this season. While the Celtics' three-point shooting is outstanding, there's a limit to how often they can rely on it. When they're shooting 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 from beyond the arc, it's time to rethink the strategy and look for more reliable scoring options closer to the basket. There's no denying the Celtics' strength from the three-point line. They've set records, and they've consistently proven that they can win games by knocking down shots from deep. But as the playoffs approach, this issue of over-reliance on the three-point shot could come back to haunt them. It's crucial for Boston to adapt, especially when the long-range shots aren't falling. They need to find a way to create more offense inside, and they'll need their key players to step up and contribute in different ways when the three-point shots aren't dropping. This brings us to the question: how will Boston adjust if their three-point shooting isn't as reliable in a series of 7 games against top competition? The Celtics have the talent and depth to succeed, but their offensive strategy will need to evolve if they're to achieve their ultimate goal of winning another championship. The key will be finding that balance, relying on their shooting, but also diversifying their offense when needed. There's no question that Boston is capable of winning it all, but they'll need to tweak their approach in certain areas. The question now is whether they can make these adjustments when it matters most. It's a test of their ability to adapt and evolve, and if they can find that balance between their potent three-point shooting and an effective inside game, they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. The Celtics' reliance on their three-point shooting is not without its challenges, especially when the shots aren't falling. A team that sets records for three-pointers made is bound to face a few struggles when those shots aren't as effective. This is something we've seen throughout the season. The team has had games where their shooting from beyond the arc has been subpar, and in these moments, they've struggled to generate offense and create scoring opportunities. The key question here is, when the three-pointers aren't going in, how does Boston adjust? It's no secret that Boston is one of the most prolific three-point shooting teams in the league. Their ability to shoot the ball from long range has been a hallmark of their offense. However, when their shooters are cold, the lack of a versatile, inside-oriented game becomes apparent. This isn't necessarily a criticism of their approach, but rather a recognition that there is room for growth. While Boston's success from beyond the arc is one of the main reasons they've been so dominant this season, it has also created a vulnerability. When the Celtics can't knock down their shots from deep, their offense tends to stagnate, and they struggle to create quality looks from other areas of the court. To understand the full picture, we need to examine the broader context. One of the reasons Boston is so successful with their three-point shooting is their spacing and ball movement. They generate open looks by spreading the floor and moving the ball efficiently. This allows players to get clean shots from beyond the arc, which has been a huge advantage. But when that isn't working, the Celtics don't always have a reliable fallback option. The inability to get to the basket or generate consistent offense in the paint makes it difficult to break through when the three-point shot is off. The team has a tendency to rely on shooting from the perimeter even when it's not falling. This is where the balance comes into play. While it's clear that the three-point shot is a major part of their game plan, there are moments when the Celtics need to shift gears and attack the basket more aggressively. This would open up more opportunities for high-percentage shots, whether it's through layups, post-ups, or drawing fouls. However, this hasn't been a focal point for them this season. Boston is averaging 5 fewer drives to the basket compared to last season, indicating that they are not attacking the rim as much as they have in the past. This change in approach could make a significant difference in games where the three-point shot isn't falling. By getting more attempts in the paint, Boston would not only diversify their offensive attack, but also create better opportunities for their shooters. When the defense is focused on guarding the three-point line, it opens up more space inside. And with the right players, Boston could take advantage of that space to score efficiently. Some players on the team, especially those who have gained strength in the offseason, have the ability to attack the basket and finish strong. These players can step up and provide the scoring punch inside that Boston needs, especially when their perimeter shooting is off. One player, in particular, has shown the ability to step up when the shooting from the perimeter is lacking. While the team has several shooters capable of filling it up from beyond the arc, this player has provided a spark off the bench when the starting unit is struggling. In several games, this player has been able to drive to the basket, contribute on the boards, and even hit mid-range shots when the three-point shot isn't falling. This ability to adapt and contribute in different areas of the game is vital for the team, especially when facing tough competition in the playoffs. It's clear that Boston's depth is one of their strengths, and players like this provide the team with the versatility needed to succeed when the three-point shot isn't as effective. Of course, it's not just one player who needs to step up in these moments. The entire team must be prepared to adjust their approach when things aren't going according to plan. While relying on the three-point shot is an important part of their strategy, it can't be their only option. This is especially true when they're facing teams with strong defenses or when their shooting isn't up to par. Boston has the tools to succeed inside as well, but they need to make a concerted effort to prioritize the paint and get easier baskets when the perimeter game is struggling. When looking at the playoff picture, the Celtics will need to find that balance between their perimeter shooting and their inside game. It's a delicate balance, but one that they'll need to master if they hope to make a deep run in the postseason. Teams in the playoffs will know that Boston's three-point shooting is their greatest weapon, and they'll likely try to take that away by closing out on shooters and contesting shots from beyond the arc. In response, the Celtics will need to find ways to attack the basket and get easy points inside. This will not only open up opportunities for their shooters, but also prevent the offense from becoming stagnant. If Boston is able to make this adjustment and balance their offense more effectively, they'll be a much more dangerous team in the playoffs. Their defense is already one of the best in the league, and with a more versatile offense, they would become a more complete team. However, if they continue to rely too heavily on the three-point shot, they risk becoming one-dimensional, which could hurt them in a 7-game series against a top opponent. As we move closer to the playoffs, it's important for Boston to recognize these potential vulnerabilities and address them before they become bigger issues. They have the talent to win it all, but they'll need to adapt their offensive strategy to be more balanced and less dependent on the three-point shot. It's not about abandoning the three-pointer entirely, but about finding the right balance between perimeter shooting and attacking the basket. With the right adjustments, Boston could become a more dynamic and unpredictable team in the postseason, and they could very well find themselves hoisting another championship trophy at the end of the year. Ultimately, the key to Boston's success in the playoffs will be their ability to adapt when things aren't going according to plan. Whether it's attacking the basket more, finding a different rhythm on offense, or simply trusting their depth to step up when needed, the Celtics have the pieces in place to make a deep playoff run. It will all come down to how they adjust and how effectively they can execute their game plan when the stakes are highest. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a twist that's catching the attention of Celtics fans and NBA insiders alike, Anton Watson is reportedly expressing deep regret over his short-lived stint in Boston. The 23-year-old forward, currently on a two-way contract with the New York Knicks, has privately confided that he feels he made a mistake leaving the Celtics, a team that first believed in his NBA potential during the 2024 draft. Drafted 54th overall by Boston on June 27, 2024, Watson seemed poised to grow within one of the league's most respected franchises. He signed a two-way contract on August 2nd, giving him the opportunity to split time between the Celtics and their G League affiliate. But his time in Boston was unexpectedly cut short when the team waived him on March 2nd, 2025, just 8 months after signing. 2 days later, the New York Knicks swiftly picked him up off waivers, offering him a fresh start with their organization. Yet, sources close to Watson suggest the transition hasn't been easy. While the Knicks provide a different platform for development, Watson reportedly misses the structure, mentorship, and culture he experienced in Boston, elements he now sees as crucial for his growth as a player. Boston felt like home, Watson allegedly told a former teammate. Looking back, I realize how much I value their system and how invested they were in me. Though he didn't get significant minutes with the Celtics, insiders say he appreciated the detailed coaching and team environment, something he's still adjusting to in New York. As Watson continues to fight for a stable role in the NBA, this rumored reflection adds another layer to his journey, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in professional basketball and how sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.